Hello again, everyone. I am back with another exciting, thrilling comic book haul. Local comic shop. Went in there, picked up my new books, some bags and boards. Always need bags and boards. Do people always need bags and boards? I always need bags and boards. Anyway, they had their cheapy comics. It's anywhere from like 50 cents to $1 is normally what he has. For some reason, he had a random sale. I think because the weather been kind of garbage lately, and he had a random sale of 25 cents a book, 5 for $1 on his, the cheap bin. Well, I was there. No problem. I'll dig through those books all day long. And I did, and I came away with a stack of books. No amazing key. No first appearance for anybody that's going to be in a movie or a Netflix show anytime soon, but some cool comics that I got for low prices. Here we go. Starman #1 from 1988. I suppose this is a first appearance. First appearance of Will Patton. So I suppose that's a key if you're really scrounging for a key book. First appearance of a character. Roger Stern wrote this series. It's nothing special. It's not bad. The Starman issues I have from this series, they're not bad. I really enjoyed the James Robinson Starman series from the late 90s, early 2000s. I love that series so much, and Will Patton here features prominently in that story, so I picked this up for a quarter. Yes. Good stuff. Then I was surprised this was hiding in the quarter bin. Amazing Spider-Man 264. Nothing special about this book per se, but it is an Amazing Spider-Man comic. And those are always hot, especially sub 300 issue, sub 400. They're books that usually command at least a few dollars price tag and goes higher up the lower you go in the print run. 25 cents? Yeah. I'll pick it up. Good to have. Then I found a couple of Bronze Age goodies that I've been needing because, I like to say chipping away at my Marvel team up, my Marvel 2-in-1. Marvel 2-in-1, number 56. Look at that Bronze Age glorious cover. That's great. Just a fun comic. Fun comic. You see a fun comic book for 25 cents, you pick it up. That is the law. And then Marvel 2-in-1 number 66. Deadlier than Watergate. More shocking than Abscom. Now, the House of Congress are caught in the clutches of the Serpent Crown affair. Dun dun dun. Just fun. Again, quarter, fun, 70s comics. Yes. Buy them. And I've seen this book. I saw this in an old Wizard magazine when I was a kid, and I always wanted to pick it up because it looks so cool. Adventures of Superman number 473 by Dan Jurgens. And I'm a big Green Lantern fan, and I always thought this was a drawing of Guy Gardner, Superman, and then an alternate universe version of Superman as a Green Lantern. I assumed that's what this story was. Like, oh wow, they must do some kind of weird time-traveling alternate reality where he is the Green Lantern of Krypton. But no, that's Hal Jordan. Dan Jurgens, just the way he drew him, I don't know if it's a little spit curl or what, but he looks like Kal-El. So I read this book and I was like, well, it was a fine story. I love me some Dan Jurgens, but this was not the story I wanted it to be. But still, very cool cover and Dan Jurgens art. Can't go wrong. But still, could have been a cooler story. Then I found, if you've watched any of these previous videos, I always pick up the first appearance of Azrael, John Paul Valley. I enjoy the character a lot. It was the first real Batman story I read when I was a kid. Love that story. But I didn't really follow the series. Azrael got his own book in the 90s. It went for 100 issues. I picked up the first year's worth, and it wasn't doing anything for me, I remember. And years later, they killed the character off. Apparently in the last issue, I remember seeing that. But his body was never found. And then another character popped up as Azrael. It was very confusing. Until John Paul Valley made his return recently in comics in a great story arc in Detective Comics. Good. But my comic shop had the last few issues of Azrael, which they retitled Azrael, Agent of the Bat, number 98. And again, this is not a key at all. I wanted to see how the story ended, Sometimes I see these videos and people are like, well, I'm picking up this filler issue for my run. I want to get all 1,000 issues of whatever comic. I know it's not 1,000 issues, but whatever. And they're just so focused on, I got to get the keys. I got this key. I got this great first appearance or rare comic or variant comic. That's all well and good. That's not the stuff that excites you as a reader. That's not what when you were a kid or when you started collecting, that's not what got you going. You weren't like, oh, wow, a variant cover. Great. Story, artwork. Yes, somebody made this book. They spent a lot of time on it. Enjoy it. It's not just a filler. Enjoy it. So anyway, 98. So Azrael dies 2 issues later here, but in issue 99, he fights Batman, and he whoops Batman. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. He beats Batman bad. Clean victory. Clean, flawless victory. And then he saves his life, because Batman's going to die due to the beating Azrael has given him. Very weird that they would have this character. I don't know what happened here. Like, the creator of the character, Denny O'Neil, wrote the whole run of this series. Longtime Batman editor, longtime Batman writer, and he had John Paul Valley, Azrael, just beat Batman this issue, and the next issue he was dead. I don't know if he was hoping that this book would kind of catch some steam, and maybe they could bring the character back. So we never see a body, soap opera style. We never see a body, but I don't know. It's weird, but it's just a good issue, good fight scene. And then we had the end of Azrael, issue 100. Poor Azrael dies in a real lackluster way. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. Which again makes me think that maybe Denny O'Neil wanted to bring him back somehow, but powers that be at DC did not do so for many, many, many years. Then another character named Azrael made his debut. These were also in the cheap bin, of course. In Azrael, Death's Dark Knight, #1, 3-issue miniseries. This was great because the guy had all 3 issues bundled together as a series for 75 cents. I was like, oh, sweet. Well, I mean, that's still a quarter book, but still, that's nice. Actually, you know what? No, he didn't. I'm thinking, never mind. There were lots of things to look at. That was not one that I saw. Anywho, yes, picked this up from the quarter bin. First appearance of the new Azrael. Michael Lane. Much simpler costume. Doesn't have the cool gauntlets of fire, but still, this is a very cool cover. And Azrael, Death's Dark Knight, #2. And #3. This was written by Fabian Nicieza. He of X-Men fame in the 90s. It's a good series. I enjoyed it. And then I was also able to pick up the first 2 issues of the regular series. I don't know how many issues this went for, but here's Azrael #1 of the new series. Again, very simple costume, but it's enjoyable. And again, written by Fabian Nicieza. Pretty good book. And then I had #2. I enjoyed the comics. I would not pay more than their cheap bin prices, more than maybe $1 a book. But if you find these on the cheap, pick them up. Fun book. Then found some goodies in the cheap bins as well. This is not high grade by any stretch of the imagination, but Monsters on the Prowl, #11. These Marvel horror reprint books from the 70s are so good. I love these. I will pick these up all day long, hopefully in high grade, but for 25 cents, I'm not going to let this not come home with me. This is mine. I've done it. I've created a living titan. That's a problem. And then I found, okay, so even those books reprint, for the most part, 1950s Marvel Atlas horror comics, those monster books. The originals are very expensive, hard to come by. Even those reprints now are big money. Like if you want them in high grade and you want to just big money. Even in lower grade, still more expensive than most people would like to pay. Just they want to check something out. But in the 90s, this miniseries came out, which reprinted most of the same stuff, and you can find this dirt cheap. I got these out of the quarter bin as well. Monster Menace #1. Again, this is all Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, art, Stan Lee. It's great. Great, great, great. And they had #2. It's a 4-issue miniseries. And number 3, that's a cool cover. That might be a Steve Ditko cover. I'll have to investigate. But very cool. And number 4. So yeah, again, that's Monster Menace. If you're looking to read those old horror books of Marvel with the monsters, find this miniseries on eBay. Dirt cheap. Your local comic shop, convention, cheap. Good stuff. How many times can I say good stuff in one video? This is also good stuff. Marvel Team Up number 8 in the quarter bin. What? Are you kidding me? It's got some writing on it. And looks like a date stamp of some sort. C19? What? I don't know. Doesn't bother me that bad. It's a really nice copy. Always working on my Marvel Team Up run. To find one in the first 10 issues for a quarter in this condition, very exciting. Very, very exciting. The second best book I got out of the cheap bins. What's the first? The number 1 book? Glad you asked. From the Silver Age of Marvel, 1965, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 16. This book's in a little rough shape, but it presents well. For a quarter, a Silver Age Marvel comic book for a quarter. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, I got all that for $4. $4, people! That's great! That's exciting! When you just go to the comic shop thinking you're going to spend a couple bucks on some new books, what I just spent on 20 books is what I would have got. That's the cost of a new comic book. Comics are $3.99 or higher anymore. That's crazy. So yeah, always hit the cheap books if you can. Not just for keys. Keys are great. First appearances are great. Speculating is fun. We all do it. But man, if there's something here, especially the cheap books, if you find something you're like, I really want to read something new. I want to read something out of left field. If you can pick it up for a quarter, do it. Do it. And there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I've gotten some new subscribers lately. Thank you so much for everybody just tuning in for the first time. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. If they don't want to see me, tell them, you got to see this guy. And we'll do it again next week, people. Take care.